Tampa Bay's 9-game homestand has gotten off to a rocky start, dropping the first 4 games to their AL East rivals from New York and Boston. Tonight, the Rays look to right the ship as right-hander Nathan Carnes goes to the hill against Big Papi and the Boston Red Sox. Welcome to the Wednesday Night Showdown, presented by your local Tampa Bay area Mazda dealers. From Tropicana Field tonight, the Rays continue their 9-game homestand, already down 4 games, dropping 3 to the Yankees and last night to the Boston Red Sox. Hi again, everyone. With Brian Anderson, I'm Dwayne Stats. Welcome to Tropicana Field, where the Rays try to get on the winning side of the ledger. Offense has been an issue. They're 1 of 18 on this homestand with men in scoring position. And BA, they're hoping that with Kevin Kiermaier returning to the lineup tonight, he can generate a little excitement and with that, improved offense.
No question. I mean, this is a stale offense right now. They've been shut out 2 of the last 3 games, and what they're hoping Kevin Kiermaier can bring is that shot of life that you're talking about, because when he's playing, there is always the threat of him making something happen, whether it's taking the extra base, turning a single into a double, turning a double into a triple. He's always looking to take the extra base, putting pressure on the defense. And oh, guess what? He's also shown us some power, too, with a couple of home runs and 4 runs driven in. So the Rays inject Kevin Kiermaier into the lineup as they look to get back on the scoreboard, get back into the win column. It's not been easy here at home. Hope this guy can make a difference.
You just see him on the bases. He encapsulates the kind of offense the Rays want to play. Aggressive. They're going to have to force the issue. They hope they can do that tonight here against Boston. Boy, it seems that with every passing day, it's another injury and another trip to the disabled list. The Rays have 11 men on the DL, and when we come back, Todd Callis takes the latest look at the health of this team.
Coming into town with the only winning record in the AL East at 9-5. The other teams are bunched up at 7-7. The Rays are 6-8, having lost the first 4 games of this homestand. The Rays, 2 weeks and 2 days into the season, have set a franchise record. It was not the record they were hoping to set. 11 players on the disabled list, the most ever in the 18 years the Rays have been in an organization. Look at the names: Cobb, Smiley, McGee, Moore, Beliveau, Colomé, Loney, Jaso, Franklin, Brett. We caught up with the manager, Kevin Cash, and asked him how he's dealing with all these injuries.
They get frustrating for all of us. I mean, you want to, you'd like to get to the point where the guys that you maybe planned for are all out there, and we understand that doesn't always happen. You know, there are some head scratching going on, like, is this really happening again?
The good news is one of those guys comes off the DL Friday, and Drew Smiley. The other good news is today is a website Wednesday, which means you guys can ask Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson whatever you like by tweeting your questions to @SunSportsRays, #AskRays, or you can email your questions to sunsportsrays@gmail.com. As you can tell by the reading material, everything is in play tonight, including a lot of baseball with Nathan Carnes on the mound for the Rays, making his 4th start of the year. He'll be opposed by Joe Kelly. We have the first pitch in 3 minutes and 16 seconds. Enjoy all the action right around the corner, right here on SunSports.
Seven-year-old right-hander Nathan Carnes trotting to the hill to face the Boston Red Sox for the first time in his young career. Overall, making his 4th start of the season, comes in with a record of 1-1. Here's the lineup he will face, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Mookie Betts will lead it off, followed by Dustin Pedroia, and then David Ortiz, the DH. Down the middle of the Boston lineup, Hanley Ramirez, Mike Napoli's in there in the 5th spot in front of Pablo Sandoval. Shane Victorino, Xander Bogaerts, and Ryan Hannigan, the former Ray, will do the catching and hit 9th.
When you look at Nathan Carnes' season, even up on the record 1-1, ERA of 4.58, but the majority of that damage was done in the first 2 innings of his season. That's when he gave up 6 runs to the Baltimore Orioles in the first 2 innings. Since then, has actually thrown the ball very, very well. The fastball that he'll move around the zone. He's got that good power curveball and a changeup that's becoming more and more of a weapon.
Well, here's Betts, the center fielder, an impressive young player in this Boston lineup right at the top. And the first pitch of this game, presented by Pinch a Penny, is a fastball in there for a strike. We're underway. Betts on base twice last night with a walk and a single. And again with a fastball for a strike. 0-2. Stopped by Longoria. Nice pickup and throw in time. Outstanding play by Evan Longoria down at third to get Betts.
What you like a lot about that entire sequence, first of all, Nathan Karns attacking the strike zone, and then how about the Gold Glover? Evan Longoria to his left with the dive, get up, throw, right on the money. Always ready to make a play.
Sterling defensive work by the Rays here to get the leadoff man. Justin Pedroia. And there's the curveball. Low and outside to start the at bat for Pedroia. Boston starting the night 9-5. The Rays come in 6-8. 3 games behind Boston. 1-1.
Now the key for Nathan Karns tonight is every pitch has a purpose. This Boston Red Sox lineup, they lead Major League Baseball in walks, pitches per plate appearance. They really make a team work, and you know that's what they did last night to Chris Archer. Chris Archer had a nice game, 9 strikeouts, but in 5 2/3 innings they forced him to 106 pitches. That's what they do.
1-2 the count on Pedroia. The fastball just missed. Karns coming in with a few more walks than he would like, and his total of 17 2/3 innings, 10 walks. Into right, Souza Jr. puts it away, 2 gone.
Let's take a quick look at the Rays defense as it lines up tonight, brought to you by BMW. In the outfield left to right, we have Jennings, Kiermaier, and Souza Jr. Across the infield third to first, Longoria, Cabrera, Forsythe, and Dykstra, with Rene Rivera behind the plate.
Bases empty to face David Ortiz. Curveball, he takes it for a strike. So Karns with that curveball gets out in front of the Boston DH. One and one.
I like the early tempo here by Karns, attacking the strike zone, working quickly. Obviously has a good idea of how he wants to attack this lineup. At this point, it's all about the execution.
Well, 3 separate pitches here. Curveball, changeup, and a fastball to Ortiz, and the count's 1-2. Staying away from this big bat.
And getting strike calls.
And now he comes in off the plate. 2-2.
Well, here in the early going, too, what Nathan Karns has shown is the ability to get his pitches to both sides of the plate in a crisp manner. He's putting the ball right where he wants to in the early going. Tremendous sign.
Count holds. Well, the Buick big matchup tonight. You can see what he has done and where he ranks all time versus the Rays. Second only to Alex Rodriguez in home runs, and first in extra base hits, runs batted in, and game-winning runs batted in against the Rays. 3-2. So Carnes has used the entire arsenal. Ramirez, Hanley Ramirez on deck. And that's upstairs with a fastball. So careful to Ortiz and his left-handed bat.
Well, he was able to get ahead of David Ortiz 1-2, and then went to trying to make the perfect pitch. Overthrew the last couple, the changeup that really took off the plate, and then overthrowing that pitch right there, that leads to the walk.
You know, sometimes pitchers will say, well, I'm just trying to make that perfect pitch to be too fine. You're in a little bit of a conundrum there when you face a guy like David Ortiz.
Well, it really becomes, in a 1-2 count, you can expand a little bit. You can't expand a lot. And, the 3 misses that ended up walking him were not good misses.
Hanley Ramirez lines it to center, and Kiermaier's there. No runs with a walk and a man left, and we go to the bottom of the first. No score. Take a look at the Rays lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. David DeJesus will be the DH tonight, leading it off, followed by Sousa Jr. and then Cabrera, as Drupal Cabrera did not start last night. Longoria hits cleanup in front of Desmond Jennings, followed by Dykstra, Forsythe, Kiermaier, and Rivera, completing the lineup for the Rays.
We'll take it the mound tonight for the Boston Red Sox, right-hander Joe Kelly, and it's been a quick start for Joe. In his 2 starts, a 1-0 record. The team is 2-0, and he's done it within the division. He went 7 strong innings against the Yankees, 1 hit, 1 earned run. Followed that up with 5 2/3 of just 2 earned run baseball against the Baltimore Orioles.
Kelly only 26 years old. The Red Sox got him from the Cardinals. And here's David DeJesus. Not a lot of at-bats in this Rays lineup against Kelly, but DeJesus is 3 for 9 off him. Cabrera, who will hit third in this inning, 1 out of 3, and that's it. Strike the count to DeJesus. One. DeJesus down in the count.
Well, you can see Joe Kelly slightly built. I mean, he's about 6'1", 180, 185 pounds, but he has tremendous arm whip. And that's where you see that fastball. We saw the first one at 92, that last one at 95. He'll get good movement on that pitch. Curveball, slider, changeup. He's another one of these Boston starters that wants to keep the ball on the ground.
And that was a point of emphasis from the Boston front office this winter. Of course, they got him last year from the Cardinals, but they have attempted to accumulate, particularly in their rotation, a lot of ground ball pitchers. It's been a roller coaster ride for John Farrell as the manager of the Red Sox. And this one breaking down and in, the curveball. So we've already seen the slider and the curve through the first hitter.
Curveball sharp right there. Let's take a quick look at the Red Sox defense, brought to you by BMW. In the outfield left and right, we have Hanley Ramirez, Mookie Betts, and Shane Victorino. Across the infield, third to first, Pablo Sandoval, Xander Bogaerts, Dustin Pedroia, and Mike Napoli. Ryan Hannigan back behind the plate.
Steven Souza Jr. leading the team with 10 runs batted in. Hitting .271. He's after the first pitch fastball. That got in there at 97. So it's cranked it up already.
And you can see the fastball. We talked about the movement. Check the arm angle on all of his pitches. That low 3/4. He does. Shows you that ball late.
1-1 to Souza. Long one deep to left center field, and that fastball is out of here. Souza turns it around. Number 4 for Steven Souza Jr. And boy, did he apply that bat to that heat.
Well, listen, Steven Souza Jr. is a strong man with a quick swing. And you take a hard fastball, a quick direct swing, a quick path to the baseball, and you get loud contact. That was a rocket shot out of here in left center field, but we're used to that when the ball jumps off the bat of that man right there.
Here is Asdrubal Cabrera. The pitch is a strike. Look at that, the hit speed off the bat, 106.3.
You'll remember it was Alex Rodriguez that had 106.4, and that turned into...
Oh, that ball just foul. Oh, my goodness.
Close.
James Hoy on the call.
Going to stop mid-sentence and wait and see. But that was the home run that Alex Rodriguez hit that ended up in the Captain Morgan deck, and at that point was the longest home run in the major leagues this year. Very similar hit speed, but that man hit his more of a line. It was a direct shot.
And strike 3 call to Cabrera. Fastball on the corner in. 2 gone.
Well, the one thing this Rays lineup can do tonight off Joe Kelly, very rarely does he climb the ladder, pitch up in the zone. So they could try to zone in thigh high, down to the knees. That's where they're going to be looking for his pitches. That's where he lives the majority of the time.
And, you know, that's really an interesting observation. We talked about this a little bit last night. You've got a rotation filled with guys who consistently pitch down, and whether over time that would be an advantage to opposing lineups.
You wonder. You know, not many of them utilize the entire strike zone. Not a lot of them are climb the ladder type guys. Every once in a while they're going to throw a pitch up, and for the most part you're going to disregard that, go right back down to looking down in the zone, because that's where they like to pitch, and that's where, when you look at their pitch zones, that's where the majority of them are.
And Longoria is out on strikes on a slider. 3 pitches, Longoria out on strikes. Rays finished in the first, but they get a run on the long home run by Steven Souza Jr. 1-0 Tampa Bay. bat when they worked all night last night, could not score a run. And with one swing of Souza's bat, they're on the board and have the early lead. On to the second, and Mike Napoli, who's playing first base tonight for Boston, leads off. Napoli, Sandoval, and Victorino.
This is one hitter that the Red Sox hope get going. Just one extra base hit in this young season, 136 average, just one driven in. A guy that they were counting on to be in the middle of that lineup and be a run producer.
6 for 44 overall. Breaking ball is up, and the count is 2-0.
Really not out of the ordinary, though. When you look around baseball, a tremendous amount of accomplished hitters with track resumes and just have not been getting it done.
Off speed there, had him out in front on 2-0. 2 balls and a strike. Well, that's certainly been the trend over the last few years. And you see it seemingly more and more with each passing year. And here's Napoli taking another pitch. He's up in the count 3-1. He sees a lot of pitches, and as you mentioned earlier, the Red Sox tend to do that. It was frustrating for them last year because they worked counts, saw a ton of pitches, and still struggled offensively. And with the addition, as we noted in last night's open, with Ramirez and Sandoval, I hope that those are 2 big additions to move them forward offensively. And ball 4, second walk issued by Carnes. He threw 3 changeups in that series of at-bats. Hit a home run and take the team out to Family Fun Day Sunday, the 26th of April, when the Rays take on the Blue Jays. Children 14 and under receive a Desmond Jennings batting glove presented by Matchup Promotions while supplies last. Visit RaysBaseball.com or call 888-FAN-RAYS. Sandoval comes in hitting .286, .389 against righties. He fouls this one right back, glancing off of Rivera's mask. 2 big additions right there. The Red Sox attempting to jumpstart what was a slow offense last year.
Henry Ramirez, career 300 hitter. Pablo Sandoval, he's been remarkably consistent from year to year with his numbers.
And a guy used to winning out in San Francisco.
What's it, 3 of the last 5 years? World Series champions.
Been right there in the middle of all of it.
Sure has.
Way up with a fastball. 1-2.
Well, that's a purpose pitch by Nathan Carnes trying to climb the ladder. And that's how every pitch has to be tonight. Already with 2 walks, you cannot do that against this lineup for a couple of different reasons. You know, number one, you walk too many guys, eventually they're going to cash in. That's the thinking with a lineup that's as strong as this one. Number two, even if they don't cash in, you walk too many guys, you run the pitch count up, and then all of a sudden, guess what? You're going to have your bullpen have to eat another 4 innings. So that's going to be the challenge tonight for Carnes.
Ground ball headed to short. Cabrera feeds to Forsythe. Dykstra cannot scoop on the backhand attempt. And the Rays had a chance to turn 2 and let that get away from them. Napoli forced at second.
Well, out of the shift, or the shade, this is about as routine as you're going to get. Sandoval reaching out, pops that right to Cabrera. Good feed to Forsythe. And Forsythe, a little yank on the throw, down and away. You got a guy bearing down on you. He tries to clear Napoli, the throw low and away, and Alan Dykstra not able to come up with it.
Yeah, you can see Forsythe do what got the rookie infielder last night, Ryan Brett, into a little trouble at second base, and still difficult for Forsythe to make a good throw to first.
And he tried to come across the bag. We talked about Ryan Brett last night at the bag and then backing up. So he's backing up, making a throw with a guy bearing down on him. There, Forsythe was coming across the bag, but he's still got a big guy bearing down on you. And he got that throw and tried to flip it over to Dykstra. It just didn't get there. And Dykstra had a chance at the scoop, but just couldn't do it.
Sandoval, the runner at first, is what we were talking about last night.
Well, right here, Brett sets himself up at second, then he's trying to back up, throwing, almost leaning away with Betts coming in hard on him. That throw ends up short and over the glove of Forsythe. Looked like it took a little hop there, and that would be the only run of the game.
Fouled out of play. And later, as you know, in that game, Ryan Brett in the third innings picked off first and suffered the shoulder injury, essentially a dislocation of the shoulder that has put him on the disabled list. A 2-strike count to Shane Victorino. There's a strike call on the fastball. First strikeout of the night for Carnes, the second out here in the second inning.
They just locked him up. That was a good fastball right here by Carnes. Low and across the zone. Victorino gets a good look at it. No complaints.
On the topic of Ryan Brett, that injury is a shame because it would have been fun to see a little more of him. Just a small sample, but I think you had to like what you saw.
No question about it. Playing second base, we saw the foot speed, we saw that energy level, saw the pop. That first major league hit was that on Sunday, left center field deep.
So in just the little bit we saw there, he could be an exciting addition at some point.
Anytime you can get a guy onto your team, love the energy level. Just brings that excitement.
Yep.
And comes out, plays the game hard, has skills, they translate, can be productive, help you out in the field and at the plate. Versatility.
Yeah, you take a guy with the skills and with the energy, that tends to spill over and create more and more of that on a team. And there's that injury in the left shoulder on the dive back in.
Everything went badly on that play. As soon as Miley kicked his leg up, he's got a great pickoff move. Brett's head came off him a little too soon. There was a little wobble. He just was caught off guard, and things like that can happen, unfortunately.
Pretty close right there. We'll take the count to 2-2. So the Rays placing Ryan Brett on the disabled list, and they transferred Jeff Beliveau to the 60-day DL. He's going to have surgery tomorrow on his shoulder. Jake Elmore had to create a roster spot on the 40-man to get Elmore up here. And Elmore, who was impressive in the spring, the Rays saw him at a number of positions, and he got off to a very good start at AAA Durham. So Elmore is in uniform and with the club tonight. Full count on Bogaerts. Three-two. Sandoval will be off with the pitch. And a cut and a miss. Carnes picks up a strikeout of Bogarts. A man left. 2 an inning and a half. 1-0 Rays. Sun Sports brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By Bank United. Bank United offers a variety of checking, savings, money market accounts. Visit any Tampa location to open your account today. And by your Tampa Bay area Mazda dealers. It takes conviction, creativity, and courage to build cars worth driving. This is the Mazda way. Desmond Jennings, check swing hopper back to the mound. Bobbled a moment by Kelly, but he gets the throw to first in plenty of time. 1 pitch, 1 out. Alan Dykstra is about to head to the plate, and we'll check in with Emily Austin.
Hey, Dwayne. Hey, guys. How's it going up there? Okay, so it's Web Wednesday, as you know, so be sure to submit your questions to Twitter, Instagram, at Sun Sports Rays. If you're like BA and you don't do the Twitter and Instagram thing, you can shoot us an email, sunsportsrays@gmail.com. This one comes from Richard Smith, guys. Do you think the Rays need to be more aggressive at the plate?
Dykstra takes the first pitch. I actually think that they have been a little more aggressive at the plate this year than we've seen in the past. I think you want to be disciplined. 1-1 the count. And I think Kevin Cash's approach is to have his hitters work counts, but particularly early in the count. If there's a pitch that you like, nothing wrong about going for it.
Be ready to hit. You know, a lot of pitchers, and we talk about it, want to go out there, get strike one, and they don't want to be too fine. So you're going to catch a little bit more of the plate early in the count and then start to work your way towards the edges and then off the plate as the count goes on and you are able to stay ahead. So if that first pitch, you know, catches a lot of plate and has a little elevation to it, absolutely, you know, be ready to hit, be aggressive early and go from there. I just hope for the time that we don't have to talk about what the offense can do better.
Well, here's the bottom line, I think, with where the club is right now. With all the injuries, you lose in the spring, you lose Alex Cobb. Major loss. And they've had the entire starting rotation on the DL and the closer, Jake McGee, on the disabled list. Having said that, there have been enough arms to offset to a significant degree that loss. To me, the big losses have been the two offensive players. You lose Loney and you lose Jaso, and I think the margin for error for the Rays is so slim offensively that if you take anything away from the lineup, then that's a major loss. So in that way, those losses are of greater consequence than the loss of one or two starting pitchers.
Yeah, the pitching, for the most part, you're right, has held up. The one thing that we have noticed up here is it is very apparent that if the situation matters, Evan Longoria is not going to see a pitch to hit. They're going to make somebody else beat them. They have not been able to do that up to this point, anybody in the Rays lineup. And then even the few pitches that Evan has seen that have hung out over the plate, he's not been able to cash in quite yet. But if any meaningful situation in the game, they're not going to let him win the game for the Rays. That's just apparent. You can see that in the on-base percentage versus the batting average. Go ahead and take your walks. Yeah. He's right there at the top of the American League.
And it's only common sense for the opposition to do that. Yep. We mentioned it briefly last night. You have that meeting, go over the hitters. This guy's not going to beat you, so you're not going to give him anything to hit.
No matter what. And that's where a guy like Loney can really come in handy, because this is a guy that, for what we've seen from him the last 2 years, 300 hitter just about.
Base hit for Forsythe. That comes on the heels of the strikeout looking of Dykstra.
And the other thing is they need to start getting the job done with runners in scoring position. This was a huge problem for this team last year, and it's the same way. You mentioned the numbers earlier. 1 for 18 on this homestand. They're hitting .208 for the season with runners in scoring position. That's 12th in the American League, and far worse here since they've come back home.
Yeah, there you see it right there on the homestand, hitting .056 with men in scoring position. Ground ball by Kiermaier, handled by Pedroia. And the Rays get a 2-out single, leave a man through 2. It's 1-0 Tampa Bay.
We finally have some good news, guys, about a guy coming off the disabled list with a record 11 guys on the DL. Drew Smyly will start on Friday in our T-Mobile Game Changer. Here's Drew's reaction to finally getting back on the hill.
I'm excited to get the season going for myself. It stinks sitting on the sidelines watching the team perform. So I'm just anxious to get out there and get the first start underway. And to me, I felt ready. My arm's ready. Obviously, it might take another start or two to build pitch count up to what these guys are at right now. But, I mean, I'm ready, and so hopefully I can help the team in any way, even if it's 5 to 6 innings. That's great.
He's not fully stretched out, guys. He's probably going to be around 85, 90 pitches, but he cannot wait to pitch in a major league game. Remember, he was shut down at the end of last season, so we're looking at almost 8 months since his last regular season start, and he cannot wait for Friday. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, and the Rays can hardly wait to get him back as well, and start piece by piece of putting this team back together again. 1-1 the count to Ryan Hannigan. It's 2-1. And really the truth of the matter is you have 11 men on the disabled list. If you can remain relevant during that stretch, you've really accomplished a lot. So here the Rays are 2 under 500 right now. And with that many men on the DL, if they could get through this first month. Oh, a great stop down at third by Longoria. He has time, and Dykstra scoops it this time.
I mean, all around. That was even better than the opening play of the ball game by Evan Longoria as he goes into the hole here, all the way stretched out, and a tremendous scoop here by Alan Dykstra, staying on his feet. This is an in-between hop, fully extended. Great on both ends.
Well, a great play on Betts to start the game at third by Longoria. Now the number 9 hitter, Hannigan, retired on another outstanding play on both corners for the Rays. And here's rookie Betts, curveball that stays high. A ball, no strikes. The Yankees have jumped on David Price for 6 runs in the top of the first. 6-0 Yankees with the Tigers hitting in the bottom of the first, and it's snowing in New York, or in Detroit right now in that New York Tiger game. Snow falling in Detroit.
Yay. April baseball.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, there were a couple of those games early in the season where the Rays were up in Chicago where I lost feeling in my writing hand in about the 4th, 5th inning. Of course, you come prepared. You've got your little jacket, your little, you know, and I don't. And you open up those, you open up the booth.
It's chilly.
Oh, it is frigid. And these guys are out there playing it.
Yeah, I know. Can you imagine? Well, you know what it's like.
Oh, yeah.
You know what
Absolutely.
the ball feels like when it's that cold.
It gets slick. It's heavy. It's just, yeah, it's not a lot of fun. But you know what? It's relative, and people find a way.
Foul ball ripped up the left field side. The ball was hooking down there, and the more John Hirschbeck tried to stay close to the line to make the call, the more he knew he was in trouble. He had to get into foul territory to get away from that line drive. And ball 4 will put Betts aboard. Well, a couple strikeouts in the game, and now 3 walks issued by Carnes, 1 in each of the first 3 innings. And we'll deal with Dustin Pedroia with speed over at first base.
4 for 4 in stolen bases already in this young season. Pretty good lead. Would you see that little hop on the beginning of the secondary lead? That was a great shot of Betts with the lead. And as Carnes, as he started his motion towards the plate, there was a hop to get into the secondary lead. And all he's doing is timing Nathan Carnes.
You know, the really good base runners have that confidence and that daring. You know, they don't necessarily hang around. If their idea is to steal. A long one to left. Jennings will look up and watch this one get out of here. Pedroia turns around a fastball, and it's 2-1 Boston. Fourth home run of the year for Pedroia.
Well, and it's the walk in front of you that really hurts. You know, you give up some solo shots, and we've talked about it before. You can live with that. But when you walk a guy, and 2 pitches later, you give up a home run, well, that doubles. Boston Red Sox take the lead. This poorly located fastball.
And here's David Ortiz. That's the 4th home run given up this year, and right around 20 innings of work for Carnes. Strike the count on Ortiz. Into short right, and therefore it is Forsythe from just inside the right field line. The shift made that play possible, and they throw out Ortiz.
Yeah, that ball was ripped past Alan Dykstra, but because Logan Forsythe had such depth and was swung over that way, he's able to get over there and make the play. You're going to see Forsythe. Look at, he's even shading the line over here, way deep. I think that didn't work out.
Well, you don't see that very often, even with a shift, especially on a ball hit that hard. Curveball and a strike to Ramirez, where a guy throws you out from a step inside the right field line.
Yeah,
short right field. One and one. To strike 1 and 2, and back to the point you made about the walks, and it's right on target with Carnes. You know, coming into this game, the opposition was only hitting 155 against him, but those 10 walks in just under 18 innings, and now 3 in under 3 innings in this one. And the first hit he gives up is a home run with a guy on base that he walked. That's the issue. Two now on Hanley Ramirez. Counts full. Napoli on deck. Big swing and a pop foul back of first. Dykstra cannot get there as the ball falls just inside the low wall there. Full count on Ramirez. And walk number 4. Look at Napoli to the plate. Get in on the action with exclusive on-field seating in the Papa John's bullpen box. Host your group of 50 to 85 in the private party area and leave long-lasting memories. To reserve the Papa John's bullpen box, contact group sales at 888-FAN-RAYS or email group sales at raysbaseball.com. You can also visit raysbaseball.com. Limited dates remain. Fastball misses to Napoli, 1-0. Rivera visiting the mound. See, up to 22 pitches in this inning after 20 in the second.
And 16 in the first, continuing to climb. That is the staple of this Boston lineup. And that either leads to a big inning or, at the minimum, like we said earlier, getting into that bullpen and forcing you to have to eat up a lot of innings. It's a tough way to win.
Two and 0. Curveball missing. It starts to get frustrating for a pitcher out there too. He's given up a 2-run home run in front of a walk, then another walk, Now he's behind in the count. Not only are you throwing a higher number of pitches in a compressed amount of time, but there's the frustration factor.
And that's what you have to fight against, and why you have to just keep it one pitch at a time. You start looking big picture out on the mound, it's going to crumble right before your very eyes.
And take the count to 2-2.
I mean, you really have to have the laser-like focus that it's one pitch, one spot, and that's it. You start thinking about things that could happen, things that already happened, not going to go well.
2-1 the count now. Now it's 2-2 on the corner.
Now let's see if Nathan can stay within himself, make a quality pitch, and put Napoli away. Because these are the situations that he'll get to. He'll get to 2 strikes, and then it's all of a sudden like he tries to get too nasty. Just stay plenty nasty enough. Stay within yourself, make a pitch.
Runner goes and back over Carnes and through into center field. Ramirez was breaking. They put the stop sign up for him, but he's coming to the plate and he scores. Down to second base goes Napoli. Where Ramirez breaking on that pitch comes all the way around. Ron Butterfield had the stop sign up for him, but he had a full steam.
Never should have happened. Never should have happened. No way Hanley Ramirez. I don't care if he's going or not. This is a ground ball off of Nathan Carnes into shallow center field. You see Kiermaier coming in. He gets this ball before Hanley gets to third, and then just offline with the throw. What you were saying, he ran through a stop sign. I don't know if he could stop. Maybe he had so much momentum build up that he was just going to go. But this should never happen.
And just like that, it's 3-1. Jim Hickey out to take a little time and give Carnes an opportunity to catch his breath and reorient himself. It's going to be a base hit. Scoring at a base hit, a run batted in, and second on the throw.
How about that?
Yep.
So Napoli, a ground ball base hit into center field, scores a guy from first. Wrong.
And now Sandoval's up there with a man in scoring position. And Carnes is over 60 pitches in the game. It's ball one. This one to Forsythe. And finally, the Red Sox are retired. 7 men come to the plate. They scored 3 times, 2 coming on the Pedroia home run. 3-1 Boston. Season long. Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. Rays down by 2 against Joe Kelly. Here's Rene Rivera. Kelly lifts it into left center field, and Betts cuts to his right, is there to make the catch. One pitch, one out. We'll go back around to the top of the order. David DeJesus. Jesus struck out on a curveball in the first. That's when Kelly struck out 3, gave up a home run to Souza. Those 3 strikeouts in the first came on 3 separate pitches. He got DeJesus swinging on a curveball for strike 3. He got Cabrera looking on a fastball, and then struck out Longoria swinging on a slider. First pitch strike to DeJesus.
A couple of really good off-speed pitches here by Joe Kelly to start this at-bat. We've seen that fastball, the mid-90s, curveball, mid to upper 70s, slider, mid-80s, a good range. Boy, he's been great with that pitch.
How about that? Comes back, mid-90s, on the corner, fastball for a strike.
Listen, 2 off-speed out over the plate to get ahead, and then all of a sudden he's going to close you in at 95. That's just a great sequence. Yeah. That's that arm whip that he generates. Quick arm, boom, late movement, mid-90s. It's too much.
Steven Souza Jr. now with the 4 home runs, a Rays rookie record for April. Ball, no strikes. Kelly hitting 97 with that first fastball to Souza Jr.
You have a tendency to amp up a little bit when the last fastball you threw him ended up leaving the batter's box at 106.5 miles an hour.
Yeah, and that fastball was at 96.
Well, 96 coming in, 106.3 going out, maybe. That was a rocket shot.
Well, whether it's snowing or not in Detroit, after the Yankees got 6 in the first off David Price, the Tigers got 4 off Adam Warren. It's 6-4.
Nice answer.
In the snow.
In the snow. Yeah, those are the typical games that end up 3-2. You know, 4-1 because of a couple of errors and a bad throw. That's 6-4 in the second.
They must have done something to warm up the bat handles.
You got to wonder, these pitchers, are you pitching in enough? Because you jam a guy, you know, in that kind of weather, and his hands buzz for about 3 innings.
That's a strike. The count is full. Kelly caught the corner. Ground ball to third. Skips by Sandoval. Up the left field line, and Souza digs for second. He's in there with a double. 2-out double, and the Rays have an opportunity to pick up a run now.
Now, you just got to love watching Steven Souza Jr. get into his comfort zone. A home run in his first at bat, a full count slider right there, and he's able to get enough of it, gets it by Pablo Sandoval underneath the glove, and then out of the box. You know he's running hard, and he's going to make the turn right there, smelling a deuce.
It's pretty efficient running the bases as well. Here's Asdrubal Cabrera. Cabrera out on 3 pitches in the first. Pitch outside. One and one. It'd be big here if the Rays could score a run with 2 outs and answer the 3-run top half of the inning with at least a run in the bottom. Cabrera now behind in the count, missing on the fastball. Well, you have to like what you've seen so far out of Joe Kelly. Unless you're hitting against him, then you don't like it much at all.
No, great stuff. And he's had, for the most part, very good command, using both sides of the plate, being able to pitch in effectively.
Two and two.
That's what you don't see much of, is that elevation. Tried to do it right there with Cabrera. And how about that range?
And now a full count. He went 3-2 to Souza, not afraid to throw the slider to him for the double up the left side. A glimpse of Longoria, who would be next if Cabrera could keep the inning going. First opportunity for the Rays tonight with a man in scoring position. We mentioned that earlier. They have struggled 1 of 18 on this homestand with men in scoring position. Popped up into short left. Ramirez makes the catch, and the Rays leave a man. On to the 4th, 3-1 Boston. Tropicana Field tonight. Follow the Rays all season in 2015 with the MLB.com at bat. the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or tablet. .64 pitches through 3 for Carnes. First pitch is a strike to Shane Victorino to begin the 4th. Well, the Yankees have scored a couple more runs in the second on David Price. Price gave up 6 in the first and made 51 pitches in that first inning. Tigers back with 4 in their half, and now the Yankees have 2 more in the top of the second. So it's 8-4 New York. And this one hits Victorino.
And he does that all the time. He's right on top of the dish. This ball is not that far off the plate at all. Not much of an attempt either to get out of the way. Almost more of an attempt. See how close he is. And then the pitch, and look at the hands are over the plate. That pitch barely off. And he tucked that elbow down right into that. About the only thing that you can give him credit for is he's not doing that with the body armor, which is what you used to see.
Yep.
Get the body armor, hang out all over the plate. If you get hit, you get hit. He's getting hit skin.
Bogarts fouls it back. And with that hit batter, the leadoff man is on in the 4th. So out of the stretch goes Carnes.
Pitch count mounts.
Snap throw to first. He is back in, standing up. And that's something that we have seen Rivera not reluctant to go down to first base.
Well, you know that's part of the other team's game plan as you talk about the Rays defensively, being reminded that Rivera will snap throw to first.
Runner goes. Pitch popped up. Shallow right. Souza coming in. Makes the catch, and back to first goes Victorino. Well, that would have been interesting because Victorino was spinning his wheels there for about a step and a half trying to get a jump.
Yeah, right there. He got a good jump, but you're right. The stumble out of the gate. That would have given Rivera a good chance, and then struggling to get back to first base. He made it all the way out there towards second as Souza was closing ground on that pop-up.
Victorino back at first, and here is Ryan Hannigan. Deep to right. Souza in front of the track is there to make the catch. And Hannigan is out number 2. Two gone after the hit batter. And back to the top of the order in Mookie Betts. Betts walked and scored on the Pedroia home run in the 3rd inning. Runner goes. Pretty good jump this time, and the throw will not be in time. Throw faded a bit. Victorino's 2 for 2 on the year in steals.
Well, we talked about the first one, a good jump with a stumble. This is a good jump without a stumble. Head first slide and able to get in just ahead of the tag. Rivera coming out hot with the throw. Not quite in time.
Shortstop. Cabrera's throw. Betts is out. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th where Evan Longoria will lead off for the Rays. Jennings and Dykstra to follow. 3-1 ball game. Let's check in one more time with Emily.
Thanks, Dwayne. Going into the regular season, Kevin Cash said multiple times that he wants to keep this lineup as consistent as possible. But as you know, it's Web Wednesday, so some of our viewers are sending in questions from Donald Austin. We have Evan has previously voiced that he'd rather bat third. Why not do that and bat Souza at fourth? He seems to be more comfortable at bat. Plenty of rookies, he says, seems, to be batting in the fourth spot. And Steve Parzan said, why not move Souza to clean up and Longo to third? A lot of guys asking this out there.
Well, here's Longoria taking the first pitch down and away. 1 ball, no strikes.
I would bet everybody second. Just put them all two.
Just put them all second so they could get a lot of fastballs to hit.
Yep.
Well, that takes care of that. Next.
Hey, listen, the debate for me is whether you want to see Evan Longoria be guaranteed an at-bat in the first inning of every game. And, I wouldn't be putting Souza quite yet into the 4-hole. I think that's a bit premature.
Yeah, I think the number 2 spot for him is great. Is a great move by Kevin Cash.
And him right behind him in the 3 spot.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of fun.
Fair enough.
In 1. I think there's a lot to be said if Longoria's history tells you your best hitter, why not hit him third? It throws him out.
It may be cliche, but I just like the idea that he's going to get an at-bat in the first inning of every game. Because over the course of a season, that's going to add up to more ABs.
Yep.
I mean, and you could take that too far and say, why don't you just hit him leadoff? Well, now you're just being an idiot. So let's just keep him in the 3 spot, and you guarantee him that at-bat. He's not hitting in the top of the second at 7:40. That's me. I don't make out the lineup, obviously. But I like that idea of it. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, and I think with the idea of moving Souza into the 3rd spot or the cleanup spot, I agree with you. It's a little early. He's off to a nice start. He's still getting his feet under him, starting his major league career. You love what you see. Leave well enough alone. Let that young hitter continue to enjoy some success.
Well, you could even make the case how aggressive it was to start him out in the 2-hole from opening day. But you know what? He's acclimated himself quite well. And you're right. It's rolling right along for him in that spot. Leave it alone.
High chop. And Jennings will reach. Neither Bogaerts nor Sandoval could make that, particularly with the crossing in front there. No chance
You want your third baseman to, in a situation like that, a slow hit ground ball, a chopper, to be able to go and get anything that he can. Sandoval coming out, trying to get over there just off the edge of the glove, and then by that time, just that little misdirection, Bogaerts had no chance, especially with Jennings running.
Well, that little deflection off the glove of Sandoval made it difficult for Bogaerts. So an infield hit. And here's Alan Dykstra. Fouling it back. How bizarre is this in that New York-Detroit game? It's 8-4. They're now in the bottom of the second. Price has given up 8 runs after 2 on 76 pitches. Here's the bizarre part. Carlos Beltran and Chase Headley hit back-to-back RBI triples in that second inning. Sandoval in fair territory handles the pop-up by Dykstra for the second out.
That's Chase Headley's second triple. He had the one here off the top of the wall. That was him, right? Yeah. Or that might have been McCann.
Yeah, I think that was McCann.
Yeah, it was McCann. Off the piping out there in right field.
Yeah, that was the 6th inning of the middle game of that series. Jennings back in. Desmond 5 of 7 in the running department. Well, here's a situation where you wouldn't mind him stealing second, trying to get himself into scoring position.
You got to try and create, manufacture, put yourself in position. 96 in the third innings last year. Joe Kelly gave up 7 stolen bases in 8 attempts. So Desmond Jennings, one of your better base stealers, and if you're going to turn him loose now, I mean, next pitch or two, you got to go.
One ball, one strike. Yeah, we started to get into this when Betts was on base earlier in the third before the home run. And you'd like to see a base stealer over there confident and willing to take a shot.
It was just a couple years ago that Desmond was, what, 31 out of 33 for the season?
There he goes. The pitch is bounced foul. Now it's 1-2, so Desmond trying to steal that bag to get into scoring position.
Well, you love the idea. You want to be aggressive. Try to make something happen here.
Ray's got a run in the first on the Souza home run. A run, 4 hits. Kelly hasn't walked anybody, and he's ahead in this count against Logan Forsythe. He pops him up on the right side. That's Pedroia. And the Rays leave a man, do not score. We go to the 5th, 3-1 Boston. June 28th. Every Thursday will be Throwback Rays Day, brought to you by Jeep. Submit the best vintage photo of yourself by using the hashtag Throwback Rays. We'll select the best photo and feature it in the Thursday postgame show. Nathan Carnes to work the fifth inning with Dustin Pedroia, David Ortiz, and Hanley Ramirez due up. That's a strike. Off speed. It's 1-1. Burns coming off his last outing when he worked 5 innings against the Yankees. This one ripped into center, and right there is Kiermaier. In and to his right. One gone. One out in the fifth. Carnes worked 5, made 106 pitches against the Yankees, gave up 2 runs. The Yankees went on to win that game 5-4. 3 runs allowed by Carnes so far, all coming in the third. And here's David Ortiz. 1-0. Started to go and did. The appeal down to John Hirschbeck. The count is 1-1. Whoa, deep into right center, no question. That's gone. Ortiz hits his 3rd home run of the year on the fastball. Makes it 4-1.
That was a fastball up, and Ortiz able to get full extension, and that's always dangerous.
Ramirez cuts and misses, losing his helmet. Five home runs given up by Carnes on the year. Two breaking ball again. Three hits, 4 runs for Boston. Lined into right on an 0-2 pitch.
We talked about this last night. Hanley Ramirez, and evidenced by his first 2 swings in this at bat, wants to pull the ball, but push comes to shove, he will go the other way, and he did a nice job there, falling down in the count. A pitch that's on the outside corner, just off the plate. And he's more than content to just shoot that ball into right field. A lot of plate coverage.
Yeah, especially down in the count. You know, he took a shot on the first couple.
Yep.
And just like last night when he hit the ball the other way, it was 1-2. This time 0-2. Now Mike Napoli.
And if you want to nitpick about the pitch, go back to the first two. Curveballs in the dirt, missed wildly. And then all of a sudden, a fastball that he can reach. Maybe you show it to him. You got to put it in a spot he can't reach it. And then go right back to that hook.
Well, those types of things really go to command of all of your pitches. And if you can get them to the area on the plate or off the plate where you want them.
And more margin for error on an 0-2 fastball that you don't want to be anywhere near that the guy can swing at. You just got to get it out there. Just show it to him.
Yeah.
But you're right. That's exactly what it speaks to.
Napoli's been on twice with a walk and an RBI single. And that was the base hit that scored Ramirez from first. Shot deep into left center and one hop the wall. So it'll be a double, which stops Ramirez at third. A 2-0 curveball, and Napoli has his first double of the year.
Nathan Karns, so often the curveball spins tight with great depth. This hung. And Mike Napoli, one extra base hit on the year, now make it two. Drills this ball out into left center field. Watch it just track away from Kiermaier. Just keeps sliding away. And hop into the stands.
Jim Hickey spending some more time out there on the mound. 3 consecutive hits off Karns.
And that bullpen awfully quiet. So for the time being, Nathan Karns controls his own destiny.
He's at 85 pitches right now. He made 106 pitches his last time. Only one out in the inning with 2 men in scoring position. Infield up. One strike. Fouled away.
Yeah, and this is where it's tough on Kevin Cash. What do? You know, the bullpen's up right now. Obviously, they're going to have to eat up a lot of innings, but at the same time, Boston's starting to get to Nathan Karns. And before too long, this game could be out of hand, and then it's just a wash.
Yeah, and you've lost 4 games to open a homestand.
Right.
On the corner, 0-2. Found a little bit of the corner and then just slid right off. In theory. Ground ball, and that's grabbed by Forsythe. Runners have to hold. Sandoval is out, number 2.
Off-speed pitch, and you see Sandoval trying to roll over that pitch, find a hole. The Forsythe step and a half. And for the time being, you stave off more Boston damage.
Victorino's going to be lifted for a pinch hitter, and Alan Craig will bat for him. Want to know the count on Craig? Let's take a look at this one.
Pretty good.
Yeah, right down the middle.
Jeez. Got to start aiming a few inches off.
2-0. You know, that's interesting. We saw early in the game Milwaukee give that strike to a left-handed hitter on a pitch off the plate. And the same thing, you know, with Sandoval up in the prior at bat. Right-handed hitter, pitch right there, no go. So left-handed hitters going to have a little bit more margin for error. High fly ball off Craig's bat. Jennings makes the catch. Red Sox get one on one swing of the bat from David Ortiz. 4-1 Boston, middle of 5. Bay Area Mazda dealers. Rays playing catch up tonight, down by 3 in the bottom of the 5th inning. They send Kevin Kiermaier to lead off against Joe Kelly. Pitch down. Alan Craig, who pinch hit, is in the game in right field now for Victorino. Kiermaier out in front of the changeup.
Haven't seen too many of those. That was a good one there by Kelly. You know, he shortens his stride on that pitch, and that allows that hand to work out in front without all the power behind it.
1-2. I tell you, we've seen a nice variety slider there after the changeup, but we've seen the curveball and that fastball mid to upper 90s. And strike 3 called on a fastball. Kiermaier not happy about that. And that's the first out. You know, the curveball for Kelly's something that really has only developed to the point where he uses it as much as he does. The last couple of years, he had a friend tell him, you go throw a football, and that will help develop your curveball. And that's exactly what he did. He's got a pretty good curveball now.
And it makes perfect sense. You think about, you know, when I was growing up, you go to the stadium, go to a Major League Baseball game and get one of those souvenir bats, wooden bats, okay? Then you get the little Nerf ball, and you'd play Nerf ball in the basement, in your buddy's house.
Still play
your
that
house.
today.
Well, you know what? Let's next off day, let's get Todd. Let's choose up teams. Emily, arrest us,
Yeah.
and play a game.
Yeah.
But you know what? When you wanted to take one of those Nerf balls and throw a curveball, you would grip it like a football. And you would throw it like a football, and that thing would just come out spinning, and it was a 12-6er. So that makes perfect sense on why you would go and do that.
Yep. Well, it works for him.
Yeah.
Yep. Good idea.
If I would have known that. If I would have just taken the...
Rivera is out on strikes on a slider in the dirt. A couple of strikeouts.
Well, that does make perfect sense. And I know that we were talking about that earlier, and I had never heard it taught that way. But when you think about it, and then you're like, wait a minute, you start putting everything together, you can understand why somebody would do that, and why with certain guys it clicks. That makes sense. And he's got a good curveball. He's got a lot of weapons to get you out. You know, you think about all four we've seen tonight have been good. You know, if the curveball's off at night, well, then he becomes a fastball slider changeup guy. Maybe the slider's not as good, but the curveball. It's just a lot of different combinations Kelly can use.
David DeJesus takes a strike, and right now, Kelly's wearing out the lower part of the strike zone in this inning. He worked Rivera down there. He got Kiermaier down there. He starts DeJesus off speed with a pitch down there. Uh-oh. Down and in, and down goes DeJesus. He's hit by that pitch. So the Rays get a base runner with 2 outs.
Slider down and in. Just caught the ankle, front of the right ankle.
And John Farrell's out a couple of steps onto the field from the dugout while they review it internally, but he's going to go back in. No case there. Steven Souza Jr. with a home run and a double. He launched one in the first inning, turned a fastball around, and a ground ball to short this time. They get the force at second. Rays leave one. We're through 5, 4-1 Boston. Home runs in this game. Steven Souza connected for his 4th of the year. That came in the first. Gave the Rays an early lead, but Dustin Pedroia turned it around with a 2-run home run in the 3rd. And Mookie Betts aboard. Scored another run in that inning, and then David Ortiz belting one out in the 5th inning. Here we go into the 6th.
I don't know.
Andrew Bogaerts leads it off. curveball. Strike one. Evans had made 91 pitches through 5, and again last time out he was well over 100. That's a strike. 0-2. Hannigan next, then the top of the order. David Price is out of that game in Detroit. Yankees leading 8-4 in the bottom of the third. Price pitched 2 1/3, 88 pitches, 10 hits, 3 walks, and 8 runs. Margaret's out on strikes on a fastball. And now Ryan Hannigan.
Number 10, Ryan Hannigan.
Hannigan out his first time on an outstanding play by Evan Longoria down at third. A couple of diving stops by Longoria. Strike one on the foul ball. Those dives evidenced by the infield dirt on the jersey.
Was so active down there at third base, and he can get him to his left, to his right, charges the ball very well with the glove, with the bare hand.
1-1. Evans started playing this game when he was 4 or 5, and like all youngsters, part of the fun was who could get their uniform the dirtiest. And he's carried that right along into a Gold Glove major league career.
He's winning tonight. Going away.
Nice contrasting colors. The uniform with the infield dirt. Two-one driven into left center field. Cut off by Jennings. Hannigan's on his way to second with a double. Hannigan picks up his first hit tonight after going 2 for 4 last night.
Center fielder, Mookie Betts.
Ryan Hannigan gets a fastball that stays middle, and boy, he's all over that. Watch right here too, Desmond Jennings as he gets to this ball and flips it to Kiermaier for the throw-in. Kiermaier with a very good arm, trying to get it in as quick as possible, but Hannigan in there with the slide.
Top of the order. Betts making his 4th plate appearance in this game already. Pops away, and over to third base goes Hannigan.
That breaking ball right there in the dirt, and you just wondered if Hannigan was going to be able to anticipate and get over to third base, and he was. It got far enough away from Rivera, and that just went from a base hit to drive Hannigan to now many more possibilities. And you see it just squib away, and Hannigan into third.
1-1. Takes the count to 1-2 on the young outfielder. The Red Sox are having all the fun tonight so far, leading 4-1. Won the opener last night 1-0. Two and 2 the count.
Well, it's interesting. The Carnes needs to retire Betts here, obviously without that run scoring, but you know he's at 103 pitches. This next one will be his 104th. Things start to get haywire here. There's still nobody warming up. I mean, Carnes going to be out there.
Well, there's a little looper into right center. That's going to score the run. Hannigan crosses the plate. Betts drives home the Boston catcher. Well, the high pitch count for Carnes is 114. That was last September 12th. And Hickey's going to give him a visit here. How about Betts reaching out for that pitch?
Yep, the location not bad at all. Betts with better plate coverage. You know, he's good at making adjustments. He's good at having an idea what a pitcher's trying to do. And in that situation, that's all Betts is trying to do. Get the ball into the outfield. Somehow flip it, whatever you got to do to score that run. And that one happens to fall in.
Well, 104 pitches right now. Ernesto Frieri finally up in the Rays bullpen. And the Rays find themselves down by 4 runs. 5 runs, 7 hits. A couple of home runs in the mix. Dustin Pedroia. Betts, the base runner. Strike the count. You talk to people about Betts, the young outfielder, runner at third, and they talk about what great hand-eye coordination he has, and you can see that the way he hits.
That fastball was shin high, a couple of inches off the plate, and he's still able to go out there, reach it, and get underneath it, get some lift, and drop it out into right center field. You can only do that with a tremendous amount of confidence in your hands and your eyes.
And they also say he's a very inquisitive young man. He'll take advantage of coaches and veteran players to learn as much as he can about the game. That's another thing they like about him in Boston. Upstairs, 2-1. Runner goes. Good jump. Fly ball to right. Sousa makes the catch and the throw back to first base, and they're going to double up Betts. And that will retire the side. Betts already around second when the catch was made.
of all, there's a very interesting poll going on right now. It is on MLB.com, and it's the franchise 4. Here's how it works, guys. Every team is being asked of their fans to vote for basically the Mount Rushmore of that franchise. Go to MLB.com/franchise4. The voting goes on until May 8th, and they'll announce the winners at the All-Star game as Asdrubal Cabrera leads off with a base hit, takes a big turn, and he'll hold on with a single. So right now, the leading vote getters, guys, are the guy coming to the plate now, Evan Longoria, along with David Price, James Shields, and Ben Zobrist. I voted today. I actually put Carl Crawford in the mix with all those great years as the face of the franchise back when they were the Devil Rays and had some difficult times. The difficult decision is, who do you drop out? What are your thoughts about the franchise 4 for the Rays?
It's a pretty good start right there, isn't it? Those guys.
Can't go wrong.
Not surprised that it could be, you know, those 2 pitchers, and there's Longoria, and then the Zobrist. You know, I could see you could have the Zobrist Crawford battle. Ben meant so much to this club, the way he developed after coming over in that Houston trade and out of the Houston system. 2-0 the count to Longoria. I mean, that's a pretty good selection right there as it stands. Snap throw to first. Back in there safely, Cabrera. Well, the Rays trying to get something going with this part of the order. They put the leadoff man on base for the first time in an inning tonight on the single by Cabrera. Liner into left. That's going to drop for a base hit. 2 men on with nobody out. So let's see if the Rays can indeed build an inning. 3-0 fastball. Longoria picks up the single.
Well, we know that Evan in a 3-0 count is going to have the green light to turn it loose. And he gets a good pitch to hit right here. Get the head out. Shoot that ball into left field. Got a chance to make some noise here.
Desmond Jennings had an infield hit in the 4th, giving him 1 for 2. This time the Rays have had 2 men on in any 1 inning at the same time. Pitch is low. Trying to chip away at a 4-run deficit. Ball 2.
Well, the command that Joe Kelly had shown the first 5 innings, elusive here. You know, the base hit by Cabrera, but then promptly fell behind Longoria 3-0. Has missed big here with the first 2 pitches to Desmond Jennings.
Juan Nieves, the pitching coach, heads to the mound and trying to see if he can turn this around a little bit. We do see some stirring in the bullpen for the Red Sox. Craig Breslow, veteran lefty, will start to loosen. Here's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. We'll hear from Jake Odorizzi, and the rest is we'll break down the Red Sox super utility man Brock Holt. (2-0) the count to Desmond. And a looper into center. That will fall and load the bases. 3 consecutive singles. That one into short center. And the Rays with the makings now of doing something significant.
Well, and at this point, you know, opportunities have been few and far between. The Rays have been shut out in 2 of the last 3 games. Obviously on the board here, but down by 4. This is the inning, obviously. 3 straight singles.
Alan Dykstra. He's 0 for 2. And takes a breaking ball low. Curveball. He would not chase it. Kelly delivered it low. Toward the middle, through into center, a base hit. Cabrera scores. Bases remain loaded as Dykstra got it through the middle, and the Rays make it 5-2. 4 straight hits to open the 6th.
Well, with the lack of command that Joe Kelly's shown here in the 6th inning, the Rays hitters have been able to zero in on the fastball. The breaking stuff, not been able to throw for strikes, and the fastball, same thing. Alan Dykstra, a nice job of going and getting that pitch away. Not a terrible pitch by Kelly, but Dykstra, he's a big guy, strong enough to get it up the middle. Out of the reach of Xander Bogaerts, and the Rays now within 3.
Here's Logan Forsythe. Pitch is wide. Fastball.
Well, you could just hone in. Logan Forsythe, his strike zone to swing just got a little smaller. He can be picky here on 1 out.
Cabrera singled on the first pitch, then Longoria 3-0, Jennings 2-0, Dykstra 1-0. And there's ball 2. It's 2-0 here to Logan Forsythe.
He just has completely lost it and has been pitching from a disadvantage the entire inning. And you got to tip your hat or helmet to the Rays for making him pay. More work to do.
It's 13 pitches in the inning. 9 pitches out of the zone.
Yeah, the other 4 base hits.
Yep. And ball 4. That will force home a run. Forsythe walks on 4 pitches. It's now a 2-run game. John Farrell is out of the dugout. How about this?
And the wheels have completely come off, and the Rays have a chance here, have a real big inning.
Pitching change coming. Back in a moment. highlights, instant analysis, and live look-ins from around the league. MLB Whip Around, weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Well, Kevin Kiermaier will be lifted. Kiermaier celebrating his birthday, getting a start. He's lifted with the left-hander Craig Breslow entering the game, making his 6th appearance. Brandon Guyer is going to pinch hit against him. Bases loaded. Guyer fouls it back, strike one. Well, it's now 5-3. The Rays have Jennings at third, Dykstra at second, and Forsythe at first with nobody out. That bases loaded walk drawn by Forsythe, by the way, his 3rd of the year already. He had one against Baltimore and then one against the Marlins, and now this one against the Red Sox. Guyer out in front, 0-2.
Logan with tremendous batter's box presence.
6 RBIs for the year, 3 on bases loaded walks.
How about that?
And the Rays have 7 as a team. That's a major threat.
Hey, listen.
Big weapon.
Well, they've been able to take advantage, and I'll tell you, Joe Kelly, who seemingly was in complete command of this game, had no command coming out here in the 6th inning. I think every strike that he threw was a base hit, and then you had a walk close to it.
Yeah. 14 pitches, 10 pitches out of the zone, and then 4 base hits.
There you go. Boy, who would have thought that coming into the 6th? Now,
not the way he threw the first 5.
No.
Little Looper into center and a base hit. Jennings scores. They're going to wave Dykstra to the plate, and he is safe. Dykstra scores head first, and the Rays tie this game at 5. Guyer comes through.
But look at him stay inside that pitch. Breslow trying to close him out in. Guyer stays inside of it, able to get enough of it, drop it out there. And then here come the Rays. And with nobody out, they've tied this thing up.
That was Jake Elmore scoring head first. Rays just added him today and ran him out there to pinch run. And so this game is tied at 5. Forsythe now at second, with Guyer at first driving in 2 big runs. Here's Rene Rivera, and he skies that pop-up through the rigging, and fair ball infield, and that's the first out. So a big league pop-up on the infield fly. And still at first and second. 1 out. Now David DeJesus is due. Tim Beckham.
Pitch hitting for DeJesus.
Number hit for him.
Tim Beckham.
So Beckham will pinch hit. Rays have put up 4 to tie the game in the 6th. Strike 1. Jesus had gone 0 for 2. He'd been hit by a pitch. Edward Mojica is up in the bullpen for Boston. Foul out of play. The count is 0-2. Well, from what we've seen of Beckham so far in the early part of this season, this is when the at-bat really becomes serious. Starts at 0-2.
And he's had some good ones, I'll tell you. Has shown that ability to hit with 2 strikes with no fear and continue to battle. Have good at-bats.
He pounds this one away, typically.
Yeah, that was a great example of it right there, because Breslow made a borderline pitch on a fastball, and Tim Beckham just really quick with the swing, just going out there to spoil. That's all he was doing. Now it's survival mode, and you hope that Breslow makes a mistake.
Wide, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Beckham actually is 4 for 7 this year after he had fallen behind 0-2 with 2 home runs. Down 0-2, now it's 1-2. And is out on strikes. He could not stop in time on the off-speed pitch. So that is the second out of the inning, and John Farrell's out to make a change. You'll love what we do for you. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. By Sea-Doo, Sea-Doo Spark, the most affordable watercraft on the water, starting at only $49.99 or as low as $79 a month. And by your Tampa Bay area Mazda dealers. It takes conviction, creativity, and courage to build cars worth driving. This is the Mazda way. Right-hander, Edward Mojica, the new pitcher. Steven Souza Jr. takes the first pitch off speed, and that's in there for a strike. Souza with a home run and a double tonight. Too low, 1-1.
Well, did you see Souza Jr. there as he was coming set, getting ready to hit, move up in the box? Right at the last minute. Maybe thinking off speed.
Taps that one foul. Split.
It was interesting to see a guy's approach up close like that. And that may be something he does each and every time. You take a look here as he gets ready to go. Does he stay put? 2 strikes.
And he is out on strikes. Souza strikes out, and he may have hurt himself on that swing. Rays have tied this game with 4 in the bottom of the 6th. It's 5-5. As he struck out to end the inning. We'll get more on that and give you the Rays alignment here. As this game moves into the 7th, there's another look.
Watch the right hand, and it's immediate.
Goes without saying, you certainly hope that that is not serious. It's to the point where it is beyond belief. This injury situation with the Rays. Brad Boxberger will get the call here much earlier than he's used to being in a game. The Rays have come back, and now David Ortiz takes a look at a strike.
Well, this is all about the Boston lineup. And so Brad Boxberger, tie ball game, coming into phase 3, 4, and 5. The power.
Well, Rivera now takes over at first for the Rays. Dykstra lifted for the pinch runner. Bobby Wilson is catching. 1-2 to Ortiz. Jake Elmore is in left. Jennings in center field, and Geyer is in right. Still 1-2. So it's Elmore left, Jennings in center, and Geyer in right, with Wilson catching and Rivera at first. Boxberger with the 1-2 and a cut to miss. Ortiz strikes out. Got in with a fastball.
Now climbing the ladder. And just continues. David Ortiz thinks he's got a beat on it. Brad Boxberger able to just sneak it above the swing.
Hanley Ramirez pitches a strike. We're in the 7th. Ramirez has been on base twice with a walk and a single and has scored a run. Boxberger delivers strike 2. Ball, 2 strikes. Rays sent 9 men to the plate. In the bottom of the 6th to score 4 times, leaving 2 men on. Chopper foul. Count still 1-2. Rays had 5 hits. Bases loaded walk helped. Geyer drove in a couple runs. Dykstra got a base hit to drive in a run, and Forsythe with a bases loaded walk scored the other run. Ramirez fouls it. So Boxberger's in there following 6 innings from tonight's starter Nathan Carnes. He gave up 5 runs, 7 hits with 108 pitches. A couple of home runs. He hit a man, walked 4, struck out 3. Now 2-2 to Ramirez.
Well, that Rays uprising was swift and it was opportunistic. He took advantage of a pitcher who had, for 5 innings, had been in complete control outside of 1 missed fastball to Souza Jr. and just could not find the strike zone in the 6th. And when he did, it went for a base hit.
Count remains 2-2.
Hanley Ramirez needs a chin strap.
He's done that 2 or 3 times tonight.
Easy.
He's got a lot to cover. 2-2 count on Hanley. And again a foul ball, so it's to this point an 8 pitch at bat. Mike Napoli's on deck. Again, foul back. In the 4-run 6th, the Rays snapped an 0-for-17 streak with runners in scoring position. They had 3 in that inning. Jennings, Dykstra, and Geyer all had hits with men in scoring position. Another foul ball. So it's 10 pitches in.
Well, and he's seen them all. Fastball, the changeup, the breaking ball.
foul ball, and there goes the helmet.
Can watch this all night.
How about Boxberger? Strike after strike, 16 pitches, 13 and 3. The breakout.
He's been sharp. Going to have to continue to be a pitcher that's seen an awful lot of what you have to feature.
And a cut and a miss. Got him with a fastball. Now 2 outs, couple of strikeouts. Let's check in with Todd to get an injury update on Steven Souza Jr.
Dwayne, Rays fans keep holding their breath. This time we have some good news. Steven Souza Jr. after this swing left the game with a cramp in his right forearm. Cramping in his right forearm, leaves the game. Nothing more serious than that, guys.
There's Napoli taking a pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Well, we'll hope that it's that and nothing more, because the injury situation has long passed ridiculous and critical. So the word is a cramp in the right forearm. That's a strike, 1-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Napoli walked in the second, singled in a run in the third, doubled in the 5th inning. Napoli out on strikes. 1, 2, 3. Boxberger strikes out the side. Cabrera, Longoria, Jennings do. Eduardo Perez with a pinch hit home run to beat the Red Sox. It's the anniversary of that walk-off. Rays have come back to tie this game, and there's a base hit on the first pitch by Cabrera, pulling it into right. Well, it was Cabrera's base hit in the 6th that started it for the Rays, who sent 9 men to the plate, batting around for the 3rd time this year, and Cabrera with a base hit here.
You know, he was out in front, a little bit out of sync on the swing, but he kept his bat in the strike zone for a long time, and that's what allowed him to pop that ball out into right field. And if I'm Evan Longoria right here, I am sitting on Mujica's split finger. You remember last night against Koji Uehara, how many did he see? 5 or 6 in a row? That's the way that they're going to go after him. I would sit on that pitch and go ahead and give my team a 2-run lead.
Evans singled and scored in the 4-run 6th. Takes a pitch down and away. And he took a cut there.
Well, that was the split, but that one well executed by Mujica, and it dove.
First, Cabrera back in there. Evan is 0 for 7 in his career against Mujica, so he must be due. Rolls it to the right side, and that's going to find its way through. Cabrera's going to head for third. There will be a throw, and it's not in time. First and third with nobody out in the 7th. Rays right back threatening here in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, another off-speed pitch, and Evan just cues that ball well placed. Pedroia can't get there. Good hustle by Cabrera. That ball not hit that hard, so he knows he can head over to third base. Did that, and now first and third with nobody. Here you go.
Now Desmond Jennings, 2 for 3, an infield hit and a base hit to center in the 6th inning. Strike call. Off the plate. 1-1. A couple of splits from Mujica.
They've gotten a break there.
It's 2-1. Well, the plate has been wider to left-handed hitters away than it has been to right-handed hitters, but the Rays did get a break there.
And it's been noticeable. You're absolutely right about that.
Tapper foul. Well, there's some pitches with left-handed hitters up there off the plate, called strikes. And if you're a right-handed hitter, that pitcher better make sure that he's got plenty of the plate.
Got to get all of the plate,
yeah.
Not part of the ball, the whole thing.
Cabrera at third, Longoria at first. Shot down to short. Bogarts gets it to second for 1. Over to first for 2, but the Rays score the go-ahead run Cabrera coming home to make it 6-5 Tampa Bay. Jennings grounds into the double play but gets the run home.
And he hit that ball hard too, right at Bogaerts, made it easy for the turn. Boy, initially you're thinking to yourself, the ball was hit so hard, would Bogaerts even think about a play at the plate? But no hesitation. Take the double play, but that gives the Rays the lead.
Pitch away off the plate. Jake Elmore. Elmore came on to run for Dykstra. Now 1-1. Elmore up here with the injury to Ryan Brett. Fouls it out of play. 1-2. Rays have the big right-hander Kevin Jepson up in the bullpen. Elmore, 27 years old. He was with the Rays this spring. Fouls it back. That pitch stayed up. And Elmore with the Durham Bulls. He's hitting .333. 14 out of 42. Seen big league time with Arizona, Houston, and Cincinnati. 2-2. Shot back into deep left center field. That ball is gone. Jake Elmore with a home run, and the Rays lead by 2. Elmore had been hot at Durham, and he stays hot here in his Rays debut.
Well, he had the pitch that he fouled off that stayed up in the zone, had a good swing at it. I'll be regretting the fact that he didn't drive that pitch. Well, he got another one, and he got underneath with some juice out to left center field, and he pads that Rays lead.
So 2 runs home here in the 7th. Logan Forsythe. Pitch is down. He did not offer. Well, quite a comeback by the Rays. A 4-run 6th, 2 in the 7th to take the lead. Here's the swing from Elmore.
Look at him get down and underneath. That hand comes off the bat, but good extension. And got it out of there.
That one disappeared on Forsythe. Now 1-2. Tap foul. So Elmore in his first at bat in a Rays uniform hits a home run. That makes it a 2-run ball game. Now 2-2 to Forsythe. Full count. Foul back. So it remains 3-2 as Forsythe has consistently fouled these pitches away. And that is ball 4. And here comes John Farrell as Forsythe draws the walk, and we're going to get a new Boston pitcher. Tonight's Mazda reset finds this Rays club coming from quite a deficit. 4 runs in the 6th to tie it, 2 runs in the 7th to take the lead. Anthony Rivaro is the new pitcher for Boston, making his 6th appearance. Rays got a run home on a double play ball, and another run from Jake Elmore, hitting a home run in his first Rays at bat. Here's Geyer, moved to first. Forsythe is back in. The Rays have had 10 hitters prior to Elmore to hit a home run in their first at bat with the Rays, including their manager, Kevin Cash. Runner takes off. Pitch is a ball, and the throw in time. Forsythe caught going in head first. Pedroia put the tag on him, and that retires the side. But the Rays come up with a couple runs. Kevin Cash out of that dugout, and he's thinking about it and heads back. And there's the look. Forsythe out by plenty at second base. Rays with 2 runs in the 7th inning. One on a double play ball by Jennings, and another one on Jake Elmore's home run in his first Rays at bat. Select any 3, 6, or 9 games with no blackout days. Get a Rays tumbler with each pack purchase. New this season, Rays members get half off parking when using the funds loaded to your Rays card. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Kevin Jepsen, the new pitcher for the Rays, their third of the night. He's facing Pablo Sandoval. 7th appearance for Jepsen. Good cut and a miss. Alan Craig will be next, and then Xander Bogaerts. There goes the bat. Look out. Off the front of the Rays dugout. He missed the breaking ball and lost the bat.
Now that's the power curveball of Kevin Jepsen. Good velocity on the fastball. And then he drops this curveball in here, and Sandoval way out in front, scattering the coaching staff.
Again, this time out on strikes. Wilson putting the tag on him. Boy, that's some curveball there.
And he knows how to use it. You know, it's one thing to have it, but when you know how to use it, you're ahead in the count. Drop it short. And Sandoval, no chance to reach that pitch ever.
That is a great 0-2 pitch.
Yeah, yes, it
just doesn't get any better than that.
Now listen, this guy, he's been around. He knows how to pitch, knows what he's doing, knows how to use his stuff effectively.
Alan Craig. Is down. Out of play, 1-1. Jepsen got Sandoval, who had faced him once before and hit a home run. Facing Craig, and wanted bat, he has a hit off him. A 1-1 count. Strike on that outside part of the plate. Mid-90s fastball. 1-2. Kevin Cash and Jim Hickey together in the Rays dugout. Two balls, 2 strikes.
The way that Jepsen's able to low ride that fastball into the zone. You know, he gets the glove, or the hand out of the glove, really wraps it behind his body. Able to keep that fastball down and then try to play that curveball right off of it.
Fouls out of play. That fastball healthy. 95 strong. Go to 3-2 here with that fastball that missed. The right side, drifting toward the stands and out of reach. Rays Live, the post game, presented by Checkers, follows. Todd Narestis anchoring the coverage. We'll hear the press conference from the Rays manager, Kevin Cash. Emily Austin will have interviews from the clubhouse. And here in the 8th with 1 out and the bases empty, another 3-2 pitch. Down to third. Glorious throw, and it cannot be scooped by Rivera. Craig's going to head to second. And he'll be there with 1 out.
You hate to see the Boston Red Sox get the tying run to the plate. You really hate to see it after what looked to be a routine ground ball to your Gold Glover at third base. And the throw low and cannot be corralled by Rene Rivera. These are some of the plays that are going to happen over the course of a season where a guy like James Loney really able to cover those blemishes up because he's so good over there at first base. And Rivera, that ball just off the edge of the glove, and Craig able to get into scoring position.
So Craig at second on the first error of the year by Evan Longoria. There's Bogaerts taking the pitch for a strike.
And you got to remember, Rene Rivera has some experience down there at first base, but it is limited. You're talking 6-7 games maybe.
Two. Had some nice depth to it. Here's James Loney, who's getting very close to rejoining the team. And a cut and a miss. Bogaerts chased the breaking ball out on strikes for the 3rd time tonight. That's a big strikeout on the heels of Craig reaching. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean Chris Coors Light. Well, the Red Sox coming into this game had scored 71 runs. They have 5 tonight. 19 unearned runs. Most in the major leagues because their opponents have committed the most in the major leagues in terms of errors, 22. Here's Ryan Hannigan. Pitch is up. The other thing the error does is help to turn over this lineup one spot deeper. Hannigan, the number 9 hitter. If you make that play, the 9 spot leads off the 9th inning. Now you got to deal with it in the 8th and go 1, 2, 3, top side of the order in the 9th. If you can get Hannigan here.
Now that brings David Ortiz into play, unless you're able to execute a pickoff play here. And Craig at second.
Stopped by Wilson. 2-1. We mentioned the home run by Jake Elmore in his first Rays at bat, and the fact that Kevin Cash did that back on June the 15th in 2005 off Milwaukee right-hander Victor Santos. Rays have had 11 hitters do that. Hannigan fouls it out of play. 2-2. The most recent was Ryan Roberts in July of 2012, before Jake Elmore hit a home run in his first Rays at bat in the 7th inning of this game. Now we're in the 8th. 2 outs with a man at second. 2-2 the count. And Hannigan fouls it again. Rays got 6 innings from Carnes, 1 inning from Brad Boxberger to go through the middle of the order in the 7th, and he struck out the side. You can't get any better than that. Jepson with a couple strikeouts sandwiched around the error. And the 2-2 out to second base for Forsythe. This throw to first. Red Sox out in the 8th. A man left. Rays lead 7-5. Summary brought to you by Golden Diamond Source. The Rays with a dozen hits and 7 runs lead 7-5 thanks to a 4-run 6th to tie it and 2 runs in the 7th inning. The go-ahead run scoring on a double play ball off the bat of Desmond Jennings, and the second run coming on Jake Elmore's home run. Brandon Guyer opens the 8th inning against Anthony Navarro. The pitch is down. Guyer was at the plate in the 7th inning when Forsythe was thrown out trying to steal. One and one. Navarro, 30-year-old right-hander with Atlanta a year ago. It's 2-1.
I'll tell you what, had a couple of nice seasons with the Braves. Had a 2.63 earned run average in 61 games last year. 2013, 62 games with a 2.82.
It's off the plate. 3-1. Ball 4. The Rays put the leadoff man on in the 8th.
I'll tell you, if the Rays can hold on and win this game, this is one of those games that can get you going, because it looked like this team was dead in the water, down 5-1. It could have very easily been 7-8-1.
Yep.
And Joe Kelly in complete control.
And here's the other thing. You would think, watching Kelly essentially melt down in the 6th, that this would be more than just the second walk. It's actually the third walk now allowed by Boston pitching tonight. I mean, that's incredible that that's all.
Well, this Rays offense got opportunistic. They got some really good counts to deal with in that 6th inning, and they cashed in. I mean, the 4 straight hits.
Because the only strikes that Kelly threw in that inning went for base hits. 14 pitches, 10 balls, and 4 hits. Runner goes, pitch hit on the ground to third. First base the only play, and now going to third. Geyer, and he is out at third base.
We'll see.
And that's going to be challenged, I would imagine, or at least let's see how he's going to do this, because he might go 2 for 1.
He is. Kevin Cash pointed down at first base and said he's safe, and he's safe at third. Watch Napoli come off the bag. He's coming off the bag with the scoop, and Kevin Cash thinks you're right. He thinks he can get a 2 for 1 deal here. That one may hang on. The tag of Sandoval to the thigh of Geyer. That's awfully close. And we'll see about Napoli coming off first base. Now he actually may go 0 for 2. Which would just be par for the course.
Well, the crew talks it over.
Right now they're trying to decide, can you even do that? He's challenging everything.
Yeah.
I just like when he came out, he said, okay, he was safe there and he's safe here. So we'll take a look.
Yes, we will. And now they're going to try to sort this thing out.
Well, let's just sit back and enjoy. I don't know if this is going to go the Rays' way, but
well, it's been tough. The Rays have not come up with a winner yet this year.
No. It looked like the throw into Sandoval's glove. You know, the fact that they called him out, it looked like the glove was on the inner thigh.
Tonight's replay challenge brought to you by Chrysler.
It's pretty good that we've got our challenges now.
So both parts of the play will be challenged.
Oh, yeah.
So let's take a look at first base.
Throw beats him. Did the foot come off early? Inconclusive. So that one probably will stay. And then the throw here, that tag by Sandoval catches Brandon Geyer inner thigh. Let's see if he gets the tag there before the foot gets to the bag. They're gonna lose both of them.
Mm-hmm. You need clear and convincing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And that's the issue. The Rays have been on the losing end because they could not establish clear and convincing. So essentially it's a double play, the original call, and the Rays with a challenge.
I don't think this is going to go very well for the Rays. How do they call it? Okay, he is out.
Out at first.
And he is out.
And he is out.
Oh, there you go. At least you have the lead.
So both calls confirmed. And I guess all you can do if you're Kevin Cash is smile about it, which is what he did right there.
I mean, being 0 for the season and then get a chance to get 2 of them back right here.
Yep.
And you drop those 2.
So, okay. Took a couple minutes, 2:09 to decide that. Tim Beckham, who's the DH, after he pinch hit for DeJesus in the 6th. And he takes a breaking ball low and outside. Well, I'll tell you this. Kevin Cash tried to sell it.
He did.
I thought that was great.
He came right out and just said, listen, you may not be able to grasp this all at once, but he was safe down there at first, and he was safe over there at third. Now go do what you got to do.
You know, Kevin's he's done a great job. You know, he's low-key. He doesn't want the attention. That might be my favorite moment of the season so far for Kevin Cash, because he really came out and tried to sell it like that. Hey, give it a shot.
You just need to run it on a loop in his office over and over. Never lose this conviction.
Yeah, that was great. Love that.
Easier to take when you're leading, too.
That's right. Boy, if you're losing that situation, well, you might not hang around.
Yeah, he may be in the office right now.
Big cut and a miss on that pitch. Stayed up and in. Off speed. 2-2. Full count here. Rays have Steve Geltz up in the bullpen. Geltz. Navarro, the fourth pitcher for Boston. Kelly 5+, Breslow 2/3, Mojica an inning. And that's strike 3 call. Beckham caught looking, and we're headed into the ninth with the Rays leading 7-5. Top of the Boston order due. High def highlight presented by H.H. Gregg, and the home run in the 7th inning by Jake Elmore that gave the Rays a 2-run advantage. Elmore a home run in his first at bat in a Rays uniform, matching what his manager Kevin Cash did back in June of 2005 here with the Rays. Steve Geltz is the new pitcher for the Rays. Apparently he does it all, making his 8th appearance.
We've already dubbed him the Swiss Army knife of this ball club. The pitching staff, he's started, he's pitched in the middle, he's pitched at the end, and now he's going to get a chance to close.
Dominguez and Friari up in the bullpen. Mookie Betts leads it off. Geltz, no saves in the major leagues. He had 17 in the minor leagues, 4 over the past couple of years with Durham. 1-1. Jepson worked 1 inning, 2 strikeouts. Boxberger worked 1 inning and struck out the side. Carnes the first 6. Now Geltz popped up right side. Forsythe has a little trouble, but adjusts there a couple of steps back to make the catch. That's enough excitement.
Seemingly camped underneath it, and then right at the end, I got it. Oh boy, you see that? He stopped calling for it. Top 4.
All right, here's Dustin Pedroia. First pitch is a strike.
Well, this was the gamble. You know, when the Rays were able to fight back and get even, Kevin Cash, the way that the bullpen is constituted right now, went to his 8th and 9th inning guys in the 7th and the 8th because of the way the lineup's set up.
Yep.
And so now that makes for, you got the lead, you're going to have to go into the 9th with someone who's not been there.
Well, we've had a lot of discussions about situations like that where the game could be won or lost in the 6th, the 7th, or 8th innings as easily as the 9th. Upstairs, it's 2-1.
Yeah, and what good would that do? You're absolutely right, because you give up a run or 2 in the 7th, you find yourself down now with your strong guys at the back end of the bullpen. Well, who cares? You're losing. And this is, in this case, you go to Geltz.
Line drive, base hit off a fastball. So Pedroia is aboard. It's the 8th hit for Boston. David Ortiz will be the hitter.
And Pedroia, we saw him a homer on a pitch up earlier in the game. And this one, he bangs out into left field, and now things get interesting.
Well, David Ortiz homered back in the 5th inning, connecting off Nathan Carnes. 1 for 3 with a walk and that home run. Slider taken low. Just missed. Two and 0. What happened to that expandable corner?
It's all has to do with the guy that's standing in that batter's box right now. Out there. There we go.
That's a strike. 2-1. Well, there's that expandable corner. It's back. High pop fly. Elmore makes the catch. So Jake Elmore has played all over the place. He's taken fly balls in left field, mostly in batting practice.
Here's a look.
That's a big fly ball here.
It is huge. And this is the, listen, they're going to stay away and say, David Ortiz, you're going to beat us. You're going to beat us to the big part of the field. Left center, left field. Can't do it.
Pedroia at first, 2 outs. Hanley Ramirez. Runner takes off, and the pitch is line foul. Out of play. Strike one. Ramirez has walked and singled tonight. Go. The answer is no, and the count is 1-1. Pedroia on first, 2 outs. Pedroia moves, ground ball headed up the middle. Right there's Forsythe. Rays come back and win it. Rays beat Boston 7-5. Forsythe to Rivera. And the Rays put together a come from behind win. Down 5-1. They put up 4 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. The bullpen magnificent tonight to hold Boston over the last 3 innings. What a job by Boxberger, Jepson, and Geltz. And the Rays get a win tonight.
And maybe a little bit out of order, but I'll tell you what, they did get it done. Steve Geltz starting right here, the 9th inning, the top of the order, and with 2 outs. Perfectly placed defense. Forsythe's going to make the play and complete the comeback.
Well, there's that dugout. After falling behind and losing a tough one last night, 1-0. Rays win this one 7-5. Boxberger's going to get the win. He is 1-1. Mujica, the losing pitcher, he's 1-1 and a save for Geltz. Right now, let's go down to the field and Todd Callis.
Dwayne, thanks. With the newest member of the Rays, Jake Elmore. Jake, 24 hours ago at this point of the evening, what were you doing?
I was lounging on the couch, actually. We had a day game in Durham yesterday.
You had ignored a phone call earlier in the night.
I did. It was 11 a.m. game, and then I took a nap. About 8:30, my phone rang. Didn't know the number. I ignored it. And then at 11:30, I got another call, and I said, well, I might as well pick it up. And it was the manager in Durham, and he said, hey, why don't you pick up your phone? And anyway, long story short, he told me I'm going to the big leagues. So
206 area code. You didn't recognize the number for Jared Sandberg. You come up here. You're told to be ready. You get in the game. Now, when you get in the game, it was right after Steven Souza Jr. got hurt. Were you supposed to go to a different position and then ended up in left?
I was. I believe I was going to second base. I had my infielder's glove ready, and Souza grabbed his hand. They said, Jake, you're going to the outfield. I ran to the locker room, grabbed my outfield glove, and that was that.
And then you have an at-bat against Edward Mujica. I don't believe you've seen him before. Tell us about that at-bat.
Well, you know, Shelton was like, he throws a lot of splitters, and so I was expecting that. He only threw me one fastball, and then he left the splitter up, and that was the one that I took advantage of.
We see it right there. And what was that feeling walking back with a lot of guys you know from spring training, but still pretty new teammates?
Right. Well, anytime you're with a new team, you want to impress them. You want to show that you're valuable, and you want to be part of the team and help them win any way possible. So it feels amazing just to be a uplifting player for the night.
Final question. You're down 5-1. It looked like Kelly was dealing. Your thoughts about the way this team was able to bounce back in this one?
Well, first impression is pretty strong on my end. There was no quit, obviously. Everyone kept battling at the plate, and Kelly was tough early. I was able to watch a little video, and he was on the corners at 97. So you tip your hat, and you just keep grinding, hoping that he'll get off the corners, and he started struggling a little bit, and we were able to take advantage.
Congrats on your first hit as a home run with the Rays. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Not bad for a guy who 24 hours ago was lounging on his couch in Durham. Back to you.
And not bad for a club down 5-1 at one point in this game, and they win it 7-5. Back in a moment.